All right, guys, welcome back for another episode of Game Debate. Join us today, sexy Nate Merritt, Will Johnson, and for the first time, Mr. Lee Fouts. Welcome to the
Welcome,
show.
Lee.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Really good. All right, guys, today's topic is going to be what three Nintendo made games would you most like see to be remade first? And Will, would you like to start this off? Give us
Oh,
some games.
goodness. Okay, I was hoping I get to go first because I want to get mine out. I had a couple extras just in
Oh,
case you
time
all.
out. That's not fair. So what you're saying is you get to pick three, and then like if I already had picked, I can't use it.
I mean, that's how I was taking it, man.
Yeah, me too.
Go for it, asshole.
Okay, so I've thought about this a ton, guys, and recently I think Nintendo's done a lot of things to make people be excited. Link's Awakening, oh my god.
Only recently, Nintendo always makes people excited.
What? Well, that's a good point. But just like Link's Awakening, for that to be remade shows you that anything's on the table. I mean, they pretty much had to start from the ground up to redo that, and it's a Game Boy game, you know. You asked me this question 2 years ago. I said Pokemon Yellow. I kept saying that, and then now we got Let's Go, and another one that it's just a totally different game, you know. So I kept that in mind. And the first one, guys, my favorite game of all time, Link to the Past.
That's a good
Hear
one.
me out. Hear me out. So Link's Awakening being remade, actually, this makes me feel even more sure that it's time. It's a sequel. It's a direct sequel to Link to the Past. And then you got Link's Awakening that's been made here not too long ago. That's a trilogy. I mean, it really is.
Link
And it
Between
makes
Worlds.
sense for Link to the Past to be reintroduced to like new people to play it. I mean, I kind of hate it in a way because I think the visuals of that game are probably maybe my favorite ever. They're
They're
perfect.
timeless.
They're timeless. I mean, you can play that right now and it still looks good. But I think it's time to kind of bring it to this generation. You all got any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, mine's simple. I'd buy it.
Yeah,
I think we all would buy that game.
yeah, I'd
You know,
vote
the
with my
thing
money.
is, like, what do you want it to look like, though? Would you rather it be like more like the Link's Awakening style that it's had, or would you rather be more like Link Between Worlds? I kind of lean towards that style. I think leaning to that, but
It's tough for me, man, because I just think the 16-bit look of that game's timeless, and
I
like I
know.
almost don't want it to be changed.
I know.
So you just go ahead and bring out the ROM out, and we'll just play the Super Nintendo version on our Switch, and I'll be fine with that.
Okay, well, I would take that too. Don't get me wrong, but I just think you've seen all the other Zelda games be remade, and that's my favorite ever, and it hasn't gotten that treatment yet. I just think it's high time it happens, you know.
What's next on the list, Will?
Okay,
We all
next
agree
on
what
the
this
list.
has.
Yeah, it would be
Well,
good, but I'm going to have to take a stance with Nick on that. I kind of like the 16-bit look myself as far as
It's
that
funny you
goes.
all say that because I 100% agree. Like, it's one of my favorite ever, you know. But I can just see it being time. All right, next, Mario RPG.
Oh hell!
That was one on my
Okay.
list too, Will.
Okay.
Good one.
See, that's why he wanted to go first, man.
Again, it's like the character models of that game lend themselves perfectly to like a new claymation style, like the Link's Awakening. It's it's a little bit muddy.
Ooh,
Some of the
that'd be
visuals
good.
in that game, you know what I mean. Like it could really be improved. And like there hasn't been like even when they went to the Paper Mario series, it looks totally different. So there hasn't been like a continuation of it, you know.
Mhm.
I think that's a no-brainer, guys. I mean, they're
Yeah,
still playing
agreed.
nice with Square, you know. It makes sense.
Will Square cannot remake Super Mario RPG because they're spending the last 10 years doing FF7, man. And then they're gonna need another 10 to do FF16. So I mean, it's gonna be tough. I think that would be incredible. Are you a Geno in Smash guy? You want Geno in Smash?
You know, what's funny about that? You say that is like if they were to like bring that back out, that would be a good time to introduce him to Smash or some of the characters in Smash. It makes a lot of sense, really. You know.
That really
so,
does.
So, Will, are these like in any order for you? Is this 3, 2, and now the big number one's being unveiled?
That is correct, Nick.
Oh, I bet I know what he's gonna say, but I'm not gonna say it.
And I got a lot of reasons for this. Like, I'll go ahead and start talking the build up for the game. I think it's all about reintroducing the game to the new generation, right?
What game though?
It's Earthbound. And that's the thing. Like, them to build to market it now, to fix the mistakes they made when they released that game. Now, you reintroduce it out. You give it like Mario RPG. I think the characters really lend themselves well to a claymation or a newer.
Well, yeah, I want to. That's the question I have for you. What kind of art style? Because after that GameCube reveal, that absolutely blew me away. That art style blew me away too. What would you like to see for that?
You know, it's funny, Nate. It's kind of like we are talking about with Link to the Past. I like I think it's timeless the way it looks now, you know? So, like, I wouldn't want to veer too much from that. You know what I mean?
It could
Maybe
be
a little bit more
cel-shaded, maybe. Yeah.
Exactly. I still would want it to be that style. You know, I
Yeah.
really would. And that's the thing about that game. If you play that now, it's like it's eerie how much it seems like it's today's world almost. Like some of the tech and some of the villains. I won't get it political on you guys, but like I think that game is timeless. It is one of those. The story's gonna be great 20 years from now, 50 years from now. I think it makes a lot of sense to reintroduce that game to new gamers and actually advertise it correctly this time.
Will, what you do if they did remake that game and they did the same advertising campaign? You open a magazine, to scratch and sniff, and you're like, oh my God, they did it again.
Oh, I'd be pissed.
Like, fire Doug Bowser now.
That's to me like the number one game they could do and reintroduce that I think would just be perfect.
Awesome. Well, Nate, let's slide to you, man. We'll put me and Lee in the hot seat here at the end trying to dig up the scraps.
All right. I actually have a pretty solid list, and I don't know how I'm going to pick from this.
Is that any insinuation that Will's list was not solid? Will, you have...
I'm just offended, Nate.
let me rephrase that. I have a list that's just going to be hard for me to pick from. That's all.
Okay.
There you go. There you go.
I know what I want my one to be. So we'll start with what I think it could be 3. And this is a party game. This is something we all could enjoy, and it's one that new gamers did not have the pleasure to play, and that's GoldenEye 007.
Oh, my
good one.
Could you and I will say this too. It's easy for me to say it's stay in the 64 era would be super easy for remakes, just because like Nick said in previous episodes, the 64 just did not translate over very well to today's gaming market. So there's a lot of games on 64 I'd like to see remade actually, but I think that's one that we all could play together on this. Could you imagine that on the Switch online play?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
It would be.
Hey, I'm kind of blown away because I haven't thought about that before. And like, think about even just for the Bond series. There's been a lot of lore and characters added to that. So you got all kinds of new characters playable. That's a hell of an idea, Nate. Hell of an idea.
I don't know if I'd like that, Nate. There's now an African American 007. I just don't know if I can play that game, man. And I just
African.
I'm joking, of course. We love the Bond films, and I love the game. Now, I'll take Odd Job, of course, but you know. I apologize. All right, so Nate, what's number 2 on the O list? I've ruined the entire show already. I apologize.
Man, Can we do honorable mentions? Does everybody have a?
Oh man,
okay.
yeah.
We gotta make it to the audience for insulting their, their.
Not my Bond, Nick. Not my Bond.
not my Bond. Hey, I want everybody to know that I like Idris Elba. I'm cool with that. And no.
I thought it was gonna be the girl from Captain Marvel, the African American female was gonna be.
She is, but I'm ushering the fact that I prefer a male over a woman in a strong in a row, and so I'd rather play the sexist card than the racist card.
I'm glad I got the shot on that. Okay,
I'm sure our 100 followers would agree.
It's pretty funny.
All right, Nate, let's go back to you, brother. What you got now?
Okay, here we go. Oh boy, this is tough. Out of these games, what would I most likely want to see? Okay, we got 007 off that list. Oh, boys.
He's going to say Bubble Bath Bates and NES. I know it.
Cool.
I know it's coming. Yeah, it wasn't a Nintendo made, man. It was on my list. They didn't make it.
All right, here we go. Okay. That's got to be, oh, man. I'd like to see The Adventure of Link, Zelda 2. I would really like to see.
Hey, that was on my list, actually.
Way to steal, Nate. Way to steal off Lee's list.
That's fine. It's a great game, man.
Yeah, hopefully he has another game on his list we can talk about. So, but
I'm sure he does.
Yeah, this is definitely it's one of my personal favorite Zelda games. I spent a lot of time on this in high school, not when I was in grade school. Actually, when it came out, but I got into this game when I was in high school. So when I actually got the cart, my grandpa had actually bought the game for me. He bought it. He bought me a whole slew of games. He bought me like a 60-some game. It actually started my collecting craze. Was my grandpa bought a huge
That's awesome.
cardboard box full of Nintendo games for me, and it had
That's awesome.
had DuckTales 2 in it. Was one of the big ones.
Awesome.
Yeah, buddy.
He bought all these games for like, I don't know, $50. It was 67 or 68 games, and I had Zelda
Was it
2 in there.
64?
So
Zelda
I
2.
played it. I actually
you know,
loved the game. I couldn't believe how many people disliked this game when I started playing it in high school, and I actually beat the game back then. But I really, really enjoyed it. I had fun with it, and it just needs updating really bad. It's a
really
great
bad.
game.
Really
I love, and we're going to talk about this in another episode, but I love the RPG elements
Yeah.
of this
Me
Zelda
too.
game. The only Zelda game that has RPG elements, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the heck out of it. It's really fun, and we needed an updated version of that. And I kind of would like to, I'd like to see it more of an action RPG though, kind of like maybe Secret of Mana style.
Mhm.
That I think
yeah,
would be
yeah.
absolutely phenomenal. We don't have a Zelda game like that. We've never had a Zelda game like that, and I can imagine an action adventure RPG with those statistical elements, some sort of combat system or whatever, leveling gang system, be absolutely off the charts good.
Yeah,
Well,
Nate, I agree. I agree.
I can
agree
see
with you.
INM actually wanting to remake that game just because if you look, I mean, regardless of what people think about it, it is
Yeah.
kind of the bastard stepchild Zelda game.
It is, no
And
question.
you
Yeah.
can somehow take that game and like put it up where where the Zelda name needs to
The
be
franchise,
somehow.
yeah, right, yeah.
I mean, it'd definitely be cool.
The game was so challenging. I mean, just traveling between dungeons was hard. I mean, that was
Yeah.
so challenging. It made it fun. I mean, it was just different than any others. I loved it. I had a
You know
lot
what,
of fun
Nate?
with
I
it.
think about games like I don't know if you all played like that, The Messenger. You think some of these indie games, Zelda 2 really would fit well with today's games. That the difficult games back, like Celeste. People are enjoying those style of games. I think it makes a lot of sense to bring Zelda 2 out in that vein. Kind of update it. You put it out there. I agree with you.
that. Absolutely, yeah.
But Nate, my real question is, do you update the dialogue or you use such classic lines such as "I am
I
error"?
am error.
And I think you gotta leave that in the game.
I think you got to leave it in the game
You're
too.
right,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
That's the first appearance of a Shadow Dark Link or whatever.
I think you got to double down on that stuff. Actually,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
kind of
Dark
the
Is that a problem for you, Nick? Shadow Link being in this game? Is that gonna bother you?
What are you guys insinuating? Shadow Link needs to have a throwdown with Bond in the GoldenEye 2. There can only be one. Man, I feel really bad now. It's all your own
No, you
fault.
don't. No, you don't, man.
I ain't gonna lie. I honestly, like, if people want to hate me in the comments, I won't even delete it. I don't even care.
Nate,
way worse
number one.
everywhere else. But Nate, now it's time for your big unveil of your number
Yes.
one.
Now this one's a cheat for me. I'm cheating a little bit because I'm going to throw two games into one remaster packet right here.
Listen,
So
I guarantee you one of these is gonna be on Lee's list. And by Nate using 2 for 1, he's
You're gonna
selling
take
it.
2 of these, all 3 of them right here, man.
I actually had Super Mario RPG. It was one of the ones on my list. But this is going to be my Square Enix remaster packet. This is going to be a 2 for 1 in the Square Enix, and that's Final Fantasy 3 and Chrono Trigger.
Woo!
And for obvious reasons, they're my top 2. Probably they're absolutely my 2 favorite Square games of all time. I mean, there's no question about that. I think Chrono Trigger is probably 1 or 2 on a lot of people's top 10 remake lists out there, but I just like to see it in HD. I don't want too many things changed. I would just like to see the sprites in HD. Maybe a little bit 3D. I wouldn't care if it was in 3D more so, like in the vein of a Zelda, Ocarina of Time sort of deal, or Breath of the Wild sort of deal. That would be okay. That would be kind of cool too, to see it like that. Final Fantasy 3, I'd also like to see those updated sprites and I do like the sprites in that game. I don't think the look of that art style is timeless, however, with the big head, little body sort of deal.
Nate, what do you think about the FF3 remake, the DS one? Did you play that when you see that? What's your feelings about that?
Yeah, I play now. what they did was with Final Fantasy II, they gave it a full remake treatment on the DS, and it's phenomenal. It's really good. The voice acting, everything's great in it, and I replayed it, and it's really good. The Final Fantasy III remake we got was for mobile only, and it's not very good. There's a lot of problems with that, with the game, the controls and everything. I mean, I don't know. I'm not real huge on mobile gaming anyway, so I don't think it was a super popular
decision.
game for that. But so that's why I would like to see it in HD, full HD, and Chrono Trigger in full HD. And two, for the reason you mentioned, Will, just so that people in today's time can experience those classic games that are just off the chart good.
Now, Nate, we're supposed to be gamer snobs, guys. Final Fantasy 3, this is actually Final Fantasy 6, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Now, let me ask you, Nate. Now, what would you rather have? So we got Chrono Trigger being remade, right? You can have one of two things. The $200 collector's edition with the big, is it Matsumi, the sword the frog uses? Would you rather have that? Or would you rather have the meme, the hippity hoppity, now you're my property meme, changed with that frog?
All the above.
I want that to be the cover of the Steelbook. and we know Square, guys, it'll only be $330 and only available on their store on Square.com. Now, it's going to sell out and come up early and you won't have a chance to get it, but it's going to be so fucking, we say fucking cool.
I'm going to hold back.
Lee's like, man, Lee's a nice guy. We don't want to say bad words. It's like, See, look, he don't care. He got headphones in.
It doesn't bother me, man.
But speaking of Lee, so by the way, people, Lee, his first appearance, his first time being put on the pedestal. Yes. Lee, what are your top 3 games? Now, we said top 3 Nintendo games, and Nate's like, I'm going to go Square and show these MFers and pick a big, awesome game. let me ask the sidebar to Lee and Will. He said FF3 and Chrono Trigger. Which of those two would you rather see get remade?
Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger.
I just have the nostalgia. I have the personal connection to the Final Fantasy 3. That's right. What I mean, because that was.
We all agree. It's up there, dude.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 3 was the turning point in my gaming career, if that makes sense. I mean, it changed me. Yeah. It changed me from a platformer and racing game guy to RPGs almost exclusively. It changed me totally. I mean,
let me ask you this, Nate. Wait, if FF3 gets remade, though, do you want random encounters, or would you like to visibly see the villain on screen before the battle began?
Oh, you know what? I would almost take, you know how they on emulators that you can turn off some of the background,
like Bravely Default style, like where you can crank up the encounter rate.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that, Nick. Yep.
I wouldn't mind if they just had it some way where you can turn the skin off on the random encounter so you can not see them, and then you can have a button to turn it back on, and there's the monsters, you can avoid them if you want. I would like.
That's Nate.
Me too. That's a great idea, Nate.
Hey, hippity hoppity, grinding's my property. All right, let's go to Lee. Lee, what games do you want to see remade, brother?
Yeah, real quick regarding Chrono Trigger. Imagine if we could see something like that in the art style of Octopath Traveler, man.
Yes.
It makes a lot of sense.
People would freak.
That'd be disgusting. So my number 3 would be Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. I would love to see that.
Oh my god, with the Congos?
Yeah. Well,
asked me about
I would like to see it with like the Switch controllers, man. Like you'd be able to use that or actually use a controller to play, because it looked like a really good game. I played a little bit of it, but I wanted some better control style, and update on the graphics would be great.
That's awesome idea. You know what? What if they did that with Labo? What if they had a Labo kit with the bongos? Wouldn't that be cool?
Boys, James Romans is pre-ordering it now.
Well, I like those games. I feel like Donkey Kong needs some more attention.
I agree.
Underused.
So number 2 was my 2-pack, and I was worried. So I was like, Nick took it. Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, man.
I'm so glad you went there. Especially when you can sell a 2-pack too. You go crazy on that.
I'll give Nick some credit. He actually mentioned that to me recently. He thought that would be a real good fit on the Switch. And I agree with you there, Lee.
I do too, yeah.
But you know what they would do? Those games are extremely difficult, I feel.
They are difficult.
Yeah.
I think they would have to. I would know Nintendo would dumb it down. You know, Ting will be floating by like, pay me 20 rupees and I'll show you the way.
Yeah.
So Lee, what's the big number 1?
Super Princess Peach.
Oh, that's awesome.
I actually thought about that too.
That's such a good pick.
I did not have that on my list, but I did think about that.
It makes so much sense too, you know. The
my
female
daughter-
lead role.
Yeah, my daughter plays Super Mario Odyssey a lot, and she plays Mario and dresses him up as in the Wings Princess. And I was like, it would be awesome to have the opportunity to actually play a main game in Super Princess Peach again. So when I showed her that game, she loved it. So that's my
awesome
definite number
idea.
one.
Yeah, that's really
I don't know, Lee. I'm not in favor of Mary Sue type characters. I prefer strong rent characters like in the Star Wars franchise, and they don't just have every power. They got to earn it. And
Captain Marvel.
all right, boys.
That's well, real quick, man. I was thinking with Super Princess Peach though, like I don't know how that would age, like with today's. I don't know, issues, like, because, you know, Princess Peach she's controlled and controls the world by her emotions. I don't know how that would really.
That's a good point.
You know what? Who cares? That's what I have to
right.
say.
Like, it's
Now,
a really cool way of using it. So
When that game released, it had controversy. I believe didn't Nintendo
Yeah.
stop printing that game because of the emotion issue and all that?
I think so, yeah.
Well, boys, luckily I made it through your all's 9. Well, really like 15 picks because you're all cheaters. I took a unique approach to my list. So some of mine make sense. Now my last one is batshit crazy. Like I don't think anybody nobody wants to see it remade. But I want to try to sell it like it could be remade.
Hey, Nick,
Anyway,
real quick before you start, can you mention some maybe these mightn't be on your list, but some honorable mentions you and I and Nate have talked about. All of us agreed on one
time
certain
out.
game.
Before you start dropping honorable mentions, you may pick one of my games.
I'm not
Dare
saying.
take my
I was gonna let
game.
you say 'em. I was gonna let you say 'em. I don't want to ruin it.
I can't believe these guys didn't mention Mario Sunshine. Like, why did nobody talk about that? Like, no one. I'm joking.
I wanted to so bad.
We
so
do.
bad.
Me too.
Now, we all 4 of us here talk behind the scenes, and we agree. Like, a Mario 64 Sunshine's a no-brainer. I think Odyssey 2 is a lot more realistic, but we'll get away from that because that's not on my list. I have no Mario on my list. Not that I wouldn't buy it day one. Of course I would. My number 3 is like the most obvious pick of all, and that's Pokemon Snap. Like,
Ooh.
I mean, Pokemon is huge again. It's a simple premise. And like you can make it multiplayer with your little Joy-Con. You can take photos and all that. I mean, Pokemon Snap's a no-brainer.
Well, Nick,
Like,
think about this. Think about they get it in VR and then the motion controls of the Switch. You literally can look around, taking the pictures, snapping the Pokemon. You know, it's an awesome idea. That's an awesome idea.
Then you release the Pokemon Snap Edition Switch Lite. Looks like a big camera. It's like, oh, cool.
Yep.
Look at my Pokemon
Yep.
camera.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. Now, my second one, I was torn. Wait a second here. I literally went to Wikipedia for every Nintendo game ever made and started taking screenshots. So, the other Pokemon Snap.
I did the same thing.
Hey. Okay, now this one is gonna sound lame. It really is, because it's so expected. Like in this Metroid Prime trilogy, I mean, how is that? What? And I fully believe that game's being remade. I think they want to be closer to the Metroid Prime 4 release. It's kind of like the refresher. I wholeheartily think 2021 spring title, because that fall will be Metroid Prime 4, and I really believe that. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to graze past Metroid Prime and go to my number 1. Now, number 1 is a game nobody wants to see remade. I'm gonna try to sell it. That's my big thing here.
You're also
Okay.
a pitch man.
I'm gonna set the premise before I drop the name of this title. All right. Think open world. Think open air. think Breath of the Wild. Now think super sci-fi. More enhanced shooting controls. Yes, I'm doing Star Fox Adventures because
Neat.
because if Nintendo can't make a good Star Fox game on the air, by God, maybe they can do it on the ground. We gotta find out where you can make a good Star Fox game. Like,
That's cool.
I mean, it's hard because Star Fox Adventures, that was Dinosaur Planet or something, and it got retooled into Star Fox and all that. And I believe that's the last rare-made game Nintendo ever got as well. I'm pretty sure it is.
Hey, Nick, is that like the Twilight Princess engine or something like that with that game or something?
You know, that's a great question. That's one I honestly don't know.
Yeah,
I just think
it seems very
just-
similar, you know?
Okay. I don't think I sold it enough. I should have hopped it more. Should have been like,
Oh, that's a great game. I think a lot of
I
people
think
have
that's a
played
good
that,
idea, too.
Nick.
I
I don't think, you know.
This day and age of people being into weird sexual acts like furries and stuff, Fox McCloud could be Nintendo's poster boy for the furry movement. And I don't know. But I want to ask you guys. This makes no sense why I'm even talking about this. What's your favorite member of the Star Fox team?
Oh, good question, Nick. It's Falco for me.
Falco's a bitch, man.
What? Are you kidding me, Nick? He's like Raphael. He's edgy, man.
Okay, is Falco cooler or Rivali from Breath of the Wild?
Oh, Rivali, man. I
Rivali,
love that guy.
yeah.
He's a total cocksucker. I love him.
Will, you can't say cocksucker on the air.
You said fuck earlier. It was okay.
I didn't say fuck, you said cocksucker. Oh my god. All right, last real question for this one though. Mario 64 or Sunshine? What would you rather have remade?
Sunshine.
Ooh, probably Sunshine.
Okay, I'm going to say Mario 64 because it severely needs updating.
It does.
I mean, Sunshine's already a good game. It has some mechanical issues, but 64 just needs updating.
See, I'll tell you
All right.
why I kind of
That's
feel
fair.
that way. Real quick, let's talk about that more. I think Odyssey is almost like the improvement on 64 that I wanted. You know what I mean? Like, God, I'd love to play 64.
You're right. It's the current sandbox 3D
Yeah.
Mario.
Yeah, but yeah.
But what do you like better though, Will? I mean, if Mario 64 was remastered perfectly, put up against Mario Odyssey, which game is better?
You got me.
It's
It's
tough,
64.
man.
It's 64.
And
Yeah,
Will,
64 for me too.
I think there's something important we're not talking about, and that's the fact that Koopa the Quick is not in Sunshine, but he is in Mario 64. And you cannot make the first ever motorized amiibo and Koopa the Quick that you can actually race with your friends for shines unless we do the 64 remake. I think it's the $8 special.
Is off the edge either. Nick, what's Mario saying when he throws Bowser off the edge? Can you tell us?
The longer gay Bowser. That's Charles Martinet recently actually explained what he actually says there, and unfortunately he doesn't say "so long, gay Bowser." But so, I mean, it's not, like we have nothing against gay people, but if Bowser's gonna keep killing your lady, I'm gonna call him some unsavourable names. And I think gay's better than "fuck you, you big turtle bastard."
Yeah.
And that's also a matter of opinion. We can take that a lot of different ways.
But I want to be clear on that. I want them both. I want both Mario
I want
64.
both in a double pack for
If I had
$50.
to choose one, if I absolutely had to choose one, probably Mario 64.
You might have talked me into it.
Yeah, that's my favorite game of all time, man. So I understand.
Bo,
Right.
Hey, real simple. Mario Sunshine Remade. $500 collector's edition that comes with a working flood pack. Do you buy it?
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like, are you serious? Of course we're gonna buy that.
Working flood pack? Yeah.
Right.
Is that right? That was called the flood where you fly it?
Yeah.
All right, for bonus points, and the winner of this episode, because now I made it a game, who knows what the initials of flood stands for?
Don't
I
remember.
Yep,
I just played too.
I did too.
that's right, guys. We're a second-rate podcast because we have no clue. And unfortunately, they all got it wrong, so I win today. I apologize, guys. That's just the way it goes. But hey,
Let me run down some other games on my list just to see what you guys think about real quick. Ocarina of Time. I'd like to see it since I've seen in the Unreal Engine. I'd like to see Ocarina of Time nowadays. I like to see Super Metroid.
Yep.
I did not like the remake of Metroid 2 as well as I thought I would, so I'd like to see
Samus
it.
Returns one or whatever.
Samus Returns, yeah, I didn't like it as well as I thought I would. I'd like to see it on the Switch in HD and done a little bit better. I didn't feel it as well as I thought it would.
Nate,
And
do you have any issue with Samus Aran being a Mary Sue? He
Well,
probably messaged me on the matter that he really enjoyed the first Metroid until he found out it was a woman. He didn't believe a strong, independent woman could be a space bounty hunter.
I will say I was shocked as a child originally, but here's
Yeah.
the thing: we had the Nintendo Power, so we had the Justin Bailey code, and we figured it out pretty early on. I was kind of shocked at first, but I dug it too, you know.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
But and so I'd like to see Conquer remade, Battletoads
Ooh, that's
remade,
good.
and here's the big one. And I probably should save this for my big number one, Eternal Darkness. That would have been.
Oh
know,
yeah. Wow.
Eternal Darkness was made by Silicon Knights. Or no, wait, was it Silicon Knights made that game? I'm pretty sure. It's a Nintendo published game.
Published.
But,
Right.
and they tried to make the Two Human trilogy, and it bombed out in the first one. But Eternal Darkness is batshit crazy. Makes you think
Yes.
you're deleting your save file, volume's going up and down. Makes you think your TV's being turned off. And it visits
So good.
multiple timeline
Hey,
areas.
Nate talking about earlier about Golden. What about Perfect Dark? Would be a cool
Yeah, another
Oh,
one.
yeah.
remake too.
Yeah.
You know.
That would be good.
Well, you didn't play the awesome Perfect Dark Zero that launched on the 360. It was so awesomely
That's a perfect-
underwhelming. That's a hard no. But you know, Conker's Bad Fur Day. I'm stunned Microsoft hasn't said, "Hey, let's."
Me too. They got it. You know, I mean, me too. I'm with you, Nick.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Rare was bought by Microsoft. I think it was $500 million when they bought it, when the Xbox, 360, or was it Xbox One or 360?
Yeah.
We're bringing as in the original, not Xbox One, but the first Xbox. Is what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say. And their big title was "Grabbed by the Ghoulies," and and then cameo elements of some random word, and AKA, why are they not? Where's Banjo 3E?
Really? They got Conker Banjo? Why are you messing with that shit? You know?
Hey, but at least we get him in the Smash Fighters pack or whatever that thing's. Fighters Pass pack. But I want to start talking about Smash Bros. Now, so we gotta stop. We gotta stop this episode.
We gotta stop.
All right.
So before we do it, though, we gotta get plugs in. Will doesn't get to plug because we're on the same channel. Nate, you want to plug your YouTube channel, your workout? You have a 6-pack yet? You had a 4-pack last time we talked. Is it 6-pack yet?
I'm getting closer. I'm down another like 3 pounds from last week. So.
Hey, congrats, man.
Getting close.
Don't congrats him, Lee. He's beautiful. He don't need to get more.
He's a beautiful
It's not
man.
fair. Yeah, really. Look at him. I mean, God.
And he's also a double fister kind of guy. He actually talked to me about that once. I don't know. I know. He has talked to me about that. So, ladies, but he is married. But slide into his DMs. But now you have a YouTube channel.
Nostalgic 84. Yeah, at Nate C. Merritt on Twitter. I'm pretty active on Twitter. A lot of video game stuff on there. So.
Now, Lee, you do a lot of cool stuff. I mean, you make retro games.
I do weird stuff.
you do. Are you still into the pixel art and the beating?
I don't really do that stuff anymore. I do repros still somewhat if somebody specifically asks for something, and that's Pixel Bros Repros on Facebook, and I'm trying to do Pixel Bros Gamers on YouTube, but it's basically just taking stuff off Twitch and posting on there. So I'm not really tore up about that. I just figured it'd be a good way to chronicle what I've done.
Yes.
So.
Well, boys.
Yeah, it's been fun so far. But I just one hobby to another, man. I got the ADD real bad.
Yeah, me and Nick are very similarly. We do a lot of that too. We jump around to a lot of things. But anybody watching this, definitely check out Lee's stuff. I've been a buyer of some of his stuff. He's 100% legit, honest guy. Yeah, get some feelings with him.
And I also want to say to the girls watching, these 3 gentlemen are married. I am currently single. If you like big dudes who make off-color comments and horrible love makers, hit me up.
Nicky J411 on Twitter. Is that right, Nick?
I have a Twitter, but all I use my Twitter for, honestly, is like if I'm exporting like Xbox clips or Switch files, then I'm forced to tweet them so I can save the file, then post it in our group and all that. All right, we're seriously stopping this episode. For Lee, for Nate, for Will, I'm Nick. It's been Game Debate. New episodes every Wednesday. Every Sunday's NSFW Nintendo show. Other than that, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Do it.